Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton in Plymouth. Every day our news team is out in your community bringing you news and information from the place that you call home. Here's a look at today's stories. And remember, you can always find more on our website, ccxmedia.org.
The trumpeter swan is the poster bird for the successful reintroduction of a waterfowl species in the state of Minnesota. In the late 1880s, this bird was all but wiped out in the state. But then, in the 1960s, there was a move on to reintroduce this majestic bird into the North Star State. And Three Rivers Park District was at the forefront.
In 1966, Three Rivers, at that time was called Hennepin County Park Reserve District, brought in some swans to raise in a captive program.
Those initial birds came from the Red Rock National Wildlife Refuge in Montana. For the next 2 decades, the program was relatively small, never getting over 50 or 60 birds.
And then the DNR started bringing eggs in from Alaska in the mid-80s.
That's when things began to take off.
And the original goal was to have a population of 300 to 400 to 500 swans, and now it's up over 25,000.
Now, a new collaborative research project with the University of Minnesota, Minnesota DNR, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Trumpeter Swan Society, and Three Rivers Park District is seeking to learn more about the trumpeter swans that call Minnesota home.
The research project that's going now is to try to figure out the migration patterns of swans. We're not fully aware of where the birds are, the majority of the birds are. We could probably tell you where 3,000-4,000 of the birds are. So this study will help us figure out where other birds are migrating, how, the timing of their migration. Do they only migrate when things freeze up?
And these days, everyone is interested in their family history. So they're doing a little Ancestry.com research on the swans as well.
The other thing they're doing is we're collecting blood from the swans as part of this study, so we can look at genetics to see what percentage of the bloodline is from the Alaska birds, what percentage is from the Montana birds.
And finally,
looking at lead levels in the birds, because lead is still an issue for a lot of different waterfowl.
But the coolest part of the project are the radio collars, which will be used in tracking the birds.
It's actually a solar-powered radio that collects GPS units every 15 minutes, and then once a day it downloads to a cell tower.
The researchers are looking at collaring 35 birds in Minnesota and another 40 birds scattered from Iowa, Michigan, Ohio, and Manitoba.
And these should charge for about 3 years, so we'll get a really good database of what's going on.
Each one of the radio collars costs about $1,500, and the project is funded by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. Other groups like the Trumpeter Swan Society and other states are also buying radio collars. One last thing, almost all Three Rivers parks have at least one pair of nesting trumpeter swans in one of their lakes. So the next time you're in a Three Rivers park, you just may have a trumpeter swan encounter of your own. In Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Oh, don't be serious, I grinned back at him.
For WAYZATA high school student Sathika Vijay, writing changed her life.
However, its faded, diminished, crumbling.
Sathika remembers going through insecurities and mental health issues in middle school.
I just wanted an outlet, and I decided to write what happened that day. And I, of course, after that day, kind of, gave up on it.
But Sathika stumbled upon her old writing the summer after 8th grade and decided to finish it, calling it Outcast.
Outcast is about this teenager who decides that one day she wants to be a famous singer, and after competing in this one competition, she realizes that she has this talent and she wants to portray that out to the world.
Sathika says the novel reflects her own life. Sathika submitted her work to multiple publishers. After nearly 30 rejections, she finally got the letter.
I cried. I definitely cried.
That's thanks to another young writer.
The man set his sharp chin on my shoulder and stared at my reflection
in the stage mirror with those deep, cool eyes of his.
Recent WAYZATA high school graduate Justin Anderson launched Sigma's Bookshelf in 2016.
So Sigma's Bookshelf is the first publishing company exclusively for teen authors.
Justin says his nonprofit publishes teen books free of charge. The organization currently has 16 books, with Outcast being the newest title.
Well, it was really well written when it came in, and I felt like a lot of kids could relate to it.
While teens do receive royalties for books sold,
Making it to this stage had been a goal for
Sathika
hundreds
says
of
nothing
teenagers.
outweighs the experience and life-changing moments of writing a book.
Through Outcast, I learned how to properly love myself, It gave me a lot of confidence, gave me a sense of control.
Reporting in Plymouth, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
I call it.
We're eating the invasive species, the buckthorn, the honeysuckle, the garlic mustard. This is how people would manage land maybe a couple hundred years ago. Stopped doing that since, civilization happened, and we've got a lot of colonial invasive species, as you can see, and this is just one way of dealing with it that, old new technology, so.
I love this. I love seeing nature in action.
They get up super early in the morning and they go all day.
They eat so fast, I was afraid they'd be gone before I'd get here. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get the go-ahead to do more projects like this in the future.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.